Sometimes you need to be able to know when you need to stop and pause and reassess and really figure out why it is that you do what it is that you're doing. Hi, my name is Tawanda Mckeechern. I am a growth mindset strategist. I help women heal from their past, move into their present, and prepare for their future. When I first decided to become a coach, I'm going to call it coach because I didn't even know that I was coaching, it really came from my tenants. I'm a property manager by trade, and I've been doing that for over 20 plus years. And women used to come into my office with all kinds of issues because they couldn't pay their rent, or there was domestic violence in the home, or something was always going on. And so I would have these women coming into my office, and one after one, they all had the same issue. And what I realized that I needed to be able to do something. And so I'm talking to them about the same thing, and I was feeling like a broken record. But then I realized that it was something deeper than that. And then I looked at the work that I did in my life to be able to transform and change my life. And so I just started giving them wisdom in terms of what needed to be done and building relationships. And that's ultimately how I started coaching women. It really started off as a nonprofit because I knew I still wanted to do the work, but first of all, I'm supposed to be managing the property, and these women are all in my office, okay? Like, we literally holding full court press in my office, you know, having classes and everything, like mini sessions. So I rented the library down at the Newark Public Library, and I said, okay, I'm gonna have a kickoff event, and I am going to just hand out some flyers, and I enlisted a couple of my friends, and I'm like, listen guys, I'm gonna do this. And not all of them even understood the vision. I just knew what I wanted to do. I'd never done it before, handed out some flyers, and we had the grand opening. Then we had the kickoff event at the library, and like 75 plus people came. And I was just like, okay, like this is something. But what I really realized is that there was a need for it. That's how I turned it into a business, and that was back in 2007, and I have not looked back since. When I realized that this actually was a business, first of all, I didn't even know what that meant. I just knew I wanted to help people. But then I realized that there was a lot that went into it, a lot that ultimately that I didn't know, and I was so burnt out. I was burnt out on the front end, on the back end. I was the front office, the side office. I was the janitor. I was everything. I was doing every position that needed to be done because I didn't really understand the business model. I didn't understand the psychology behind all of it or any of it. And my family started to suffer as a result of it. My husband said to me one day, he said, so you gonna be helping everybody else while we broken in here? And it was almost as if he punched me in my stomach. And I had to really, really stop and just take a moment and really, really assess what it was that I was doing. There are years from my youngest daughter's life that I don't even remember. Because I was busy running around trying to build this business. For the first time, I had found passion in my life. I had found the thing that I felt like I was called to do, and I wanted to do nothing else but that. But then there also needed to be balance. I'm a wife, and I'm a mother. I was still working. I'm a homeowner. I'm a sister. I'm a friend. I wear many hats, as most of us do. But I needed to be able to have some balance with that. So I had to develop some systems, and I had to develop some structure in the business. But I also had to take some time off. So honestly, I took a couple of years off. I took probably about 3 or 4 years off because I needed to mend my family relationship. And sometimes we need to be able to know when to do that. Sometimes you need to be able to know when you need to stop and pause and reassess and really figure out why it is that you do what it is that you're doing. And then you can be able to have a moment of clarity, a moment where you are able to just, now, let's move forward in the right way. And when I did that, and I was able to reemerge, my entire business model changed. My life changed. My marriage was better with my husband. My daughter's relationship with my relationship with my youngest daughter was better. And then new ventures opened up. One day I was talking to one of my friends about just really, really getting back into doing my business full-fledged. But I knew that I couldn't do it the same way that I was doing it before, because if I kept doing it the same way, I would have gotten the same results. And so what happened was she told me about this organization called Untitled Capital, and that they had community business academy. So it was class for entrepreneurs who wanted to like learn about business, take their businesses to the next level. And so I took the class. And when I tell you, it was the best thing that I could have ever done. The thing about business and just life in general, you don't know what you don't know. And so what happened was when I took the class, it took me through every single aspect of my business, that I was able to learn where the gaps were. Because trust me, there are gaps that if you don't go through a full-fledged system, you're not going to know what the gaps are. And so I was able to be introduced to things that I knew nothing about in business. And that was the catalyst to be able to change my life. And then probably like a year and a half later, I was asked to be an instructor. And so now I teach classes for them because I'm just that passionate about it. I know that that is the difference between you trying to figure all this stuff out on your own versus you having some structure and a system in your business. That makes the difference. So once I got finished the classes and understood that I needed to have a business model, I started doing events. I have this uncanny ability that God has given me to be able to speak to the souls of women. And so what I did was I would create these events at the hotel where we would stay for the weekend and we would lock in. I would rent the room out in the hotel and we are going in. There is not a dry eye in the room, because in order for women to really be every single thing that God has created them to be, we need to move out of our own way. I get to the root of what's going on. So you can tell me whatever it is you think you want to tell me. I'm not playing with you. That ain't it. Okay, that is not it. And we keep digging and keep digging and digging until we get to the root. And that has become my signature. I create these things, what I call the experience, because that's exactly what it is. It's an experience. It's no PowerPoint presentations. You're not coming in there and there's no handouts. No, it's none of that. The aesthetics of it and the visuals of it have you do the realization. So it's not me telling you what the problem is. It's you coming to the awareness that something has to change, and you coming to the awareness that I have to do something different with my life if I want some different results. One day I started back my business, and there was a woman who let me use her space. And this was recently, probably about 5 or 6 months ago, that let me use her space. But the space was a grief center. And it felt like a grief center. God bless her, because I'm grateful that she let me use the space. But I was sitting in that space one day and I was just like, this is not it. I was like, God, this is not it. And I was like, okay, I want something that's my own, that when it's time for me to have a workshop, when it's time for me to have an event, that I can just have a key and I can come in and I don't have to do a whole bunch of stuff to it, that we can create it the way that I want it to be. And so I started looking, and then I said, you know what? I'm not having workshops every day. I am not teaching a class every day. What if I take and I get a space and I share it with other women? Other women just like me who are looking to have classes, who are looking to have workshops, who may want to have small events, who want to create podcasts, create their content. I said, what if I created this studio? It was just a dream in my head. I didn't even know what I was doing. I just started looking, and one day, the perfect space just fell into my lap. And I was just like, God, really? And here we are. We're sitting in the manifestation of a vision that I had, that I got out of my way and I stepped out on faith. And it's the most amazing thing that I have ever done. Can I just tell you guys, I had to give over full creative control to my daughter. That was so hard. Realistically, when I thought about a space, honestly, and this is the truth, I could have probably had some fold-up tables and chairs, and all I needed was a TV to do a projection on and a whiteboard. I was good. Girl, That's all she kept saying to me is, girl. I wasn't even her mother at that point. It was just like, girl, no, we're not doing that. And so she had designed her studio. So she does hair and she does wigs. And so she designed it and she did this beautiful space. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna let her design this studio. But the control in me was like, yeah, I'm gonna let her go, but not too far. And that's where the pull came in. And then one day, I think I have decision fatigue. Like, I did not want to make another decision because every other day she wanted to do this. She wanted to paint a wall. She wanted to buy a light. She wanted to put this whole grass wall up to the ceiling that's 20 feet high. How are you getting up there? She wants to put these shelving up. And I'm just like, okay, you know what? You don't wore me down, child. Okay, I am so over it. Do what you will. Here, take this card. I just gave her my card. I was like, just go have at it. But you know, she did come back to me and she talked to me about everything that she was gonna do. And I just kind of, as I saw the progression of it come together, I was just amazed. I mean, the attention to every little detail. I could not have done this without her. And this place is amazing. Like, when people walk in here, they are just floored at it. And I can't take credit for that. Like, I had the vision for it and I had the insight and the money for it, but she really brought it to life. So I'm grateful for that. Now that the space is open, it's ultimately taken on a whole new life, something that I didn't even anticipate, which is helping me to kind of reorganize and re-strategize this whole work-life balance thing again. It's like, okay, let's not do how we did before. But it takes a lot of people to pull something like this off. Even when I have events, like, my family is great, you know, my cousins, you know, and I have friends, you know, they will come in and help. Like, don't think that this is a one-woman show. You know, sometimes we negate the fact that if we don't have full-time staff or we're not paying a bunch of people, that we don't have people. Oh no, we have people. We have our community that we work with, you know, that you're able to pull on. Your family, sometimes they're your first employees, you know, so you're working out the kinks. And now I'm in the process of hiring an assistant because I need that, and I know it's what's going to help solidify and strengthen me as a woman, understanding that I have to have that balance. And there are things that I have to know how to delegate. That's a big thing, because sometimes I don't always want to give up control. That's a real thing. And I know the way that I do it. I know the level that I work at, and somebody else may not work at that level. But that's okay. They don't need to work at my level. They need to work at their level, but they need to work to the standard that I need it done at, and then we can meet in the middle. You know, so it's not going to be the way that I would do it, but that's okay. You know, I'm able to now realize that I'm in this for the long haul. And so in order to be in this for the long haul, you need to have that balance and you need to be able to get help. I really need to just drop that cape, like, seriously. And I'm in the process of doing that. But this journey, it's an ever-growing journey. It's an ever-evolving journey. You know, my friend always tells me to be able to find the joy, the J-O-Y, in the journey. And if you look at the word journey, the letters J-O-Y are in that. And so what I'm doing now is I am learning to find the joy in it. I am learning to live in the moments, because sometimes we're always rushing from one moment to the next, from one thing to the next, because we have so much to do. And we miss it. It's not even about the destination, really. It's about the journey and the process of what it is that we're doing. Now that I have the Empowerment Studio, my creativity is on 100, okay? I am looking forward to all of the events that's going to be created here. I'm looking forward to my business really going to another level. The workshops that are going to take place. Listen, if you are looking for somewhere to be able to get creative, the Empowerment Studio is the place. You're looking for somewhere to create some content, have a girls' night, have an empowering event, record your podcast. Anything that you're looking to do that concerns women's empowerment, the Empowerment Studio is the place to be.